The morning sun crept over the horizon, bathing the city in gold. Ayan tied his son Arif's worn shoes, kissed his forehead, and whispered, "Someday, buddy, life will change." He didn't know that day was closer than he ever imagined. Ayan was a single dad who worked at the Varma equestrian estate, cleaning stables and feeding horses that were worth more than he'd make in a lifetime. But he never complained. For him, Arif's laughter was enough reason to wake up and fight another day. Life, however, had other plans. That morning, the air at the stables was tense. Alina Varma, the brilliant yet feared CEO who owned the entire estate, arrived in a storm of frustration. Her prized stallion, Blaze, had thrown off yet another professional trainer. The animal was too wild, too fierce, too free for anyone to handle. Alina's temper was infamous, but this time, it came with a challenge. "If anyone here can ride this beast," she declared coldly, "I'll double their salary." No one moved. No one dared except Ayan. Quietly, he put down the bucket in his hand and walked toward Blaze's stall. The others whispered behind him, "The poor man's going to get himself killed." Blaze reared, nostrils flaring, eyes blazing with untamed rage. But Ayan didn't flinch. He had seen wild things before, in life, in people, even in himself. "Easy, boy," he said softly. "You're just scared, not bad." Something about his voice calmed the stallion. Within minutes, the unthinkable happened. Blaze lowered his head and let Ayan touch him. Slowly, Ayan mounted without a saddle, holding only the reins. The horse kicked, twisted, and bucked, but Ayan stayed on, whispering words of calm. When Blaze finally stopped fighting, breathing heavy but still, the crowd gasped. From across the stable yard, Alina Varma's icy expression thawed into surprise. "Impressive," she murmured, walking toward him. "It's not about control," Ayan said. "It's about trust." She tilted her head, intrigued. "You think you understand wild things?" "Sometimes," he smiled faintly. "Only if they let me." Her lips curved slightly, something playful glinting in her eyes. "Then let's test that confidence. Ride my wild stallion again and then beat me in chess. If you can do both," she paused, "I'll marry you." Everyone froze. The air itself seemed to stop moving. Ayan blinked in disbelief. "You're joking." "I never joke," Alina said coolly. "You say you understand the wild? Prove it." That night, after tucking Arif into bed, Ayan stared at the stars from his small apartment window. He chuckled bitterly. "Ride her horse and beat her in chess? What kind of life am I living?" Arif's sleepy voice interrupted his thoughts. "Papa, are you thinking about Mom again?" Ayan smiled sadly. "A little. But mostly, I'm thinking about something impossible." The next day, Alina arrived with a chessboard. Her assistant set it down on a hay bale as if it were a royal table. "Ready?" she asked. Ayan sat across from her, unsure why his hands were trembling. Fear, or maybe curiosity. She played fast, sharp, and calculated, just like she ran her empire. He, however, played slow, thoughtful, seeing patterns not on the board but in her expressions. Every time she grew impatient, he smiled quietly. An hour later, Alina leaned forward. "You're about to lose." Ayan made a final move and said gently, "Checkmate." Her eyes widened. For a second, the confident CEO forgot how to speak. Then she laughed, a genuine, unguarded sound. "You actually beat me," she said. "You said you'd marry me if I did," he reminded her, smiling. Her smile softened. "Do you even know what that means, Ayan? I'm not someone easy to love. I'm chaos. Fire. Ambition. And I," he said, meeting her gaze, "am someone who knows how to calm wild things." For a fleeting moment, the world seemed perfect. Two people from different worlds, one made of glass towers, the other of mud and hay, had found something they didn't expect, connection, but not everyone saw it that way. When news leaked that the CEO was seen flirting with her stable hand, social media exploded. The board of directors called it a scandal. Share prices dipped. Her investors demanded explanations. Within days, Alina was forced into a corner. "I can't do this," she told Ayan one evening, her voice breaking. "They'll destroy everything I've built." Ayan didn't argue. He only looked at her with quiet sadness. Then don't lose what you built. But don't forget who made you smile like that. He turned and walked away, heart heavy but proud. He had loved her with honesty, and that was enough. Weeks passed. The stables felt emptier. Blaze refused to let anyone else ride him again. Every night, Ion fed him apples and talked to him like an old friend. "You miss her too, huh?" he'd whisper. The stallion would snort softly and reply. One evening, Ion found an envelope tucked into Blaze's stall. Inside was a note written in elegant handwriting. "You taught me that love isn't about control, it's about understanding. You saw through my walls. Meet me where." Blaze first calmed down. "If your answer is still the same." The next morning, as dawn painted the sky pink, Ion walked to the paddock where it had all begun. Alina was there, standing beside Blaze, her eyes shimmering with emotion. "I don't care about the board, or the media," she said. "You beat me in chess, but you also beat my fears. I don't need a contract to know what I want." Ion stepped closer, his heart pounding. "And what's that?" She smiled, tears glinting. "You. The man who tamed the wildest thing in my life, me." He laughed softly, placing his hand over hers. "So, do I get my prize now?" She laughed through her tears. "You already did. You changed my world." As the sun rose behind them, Blaze neighed loudly, almost as if blessing their bond. Ion wrapped his arms around Alina, and for the first time in years, he felt whole. He had lost so much, but this was worth every struggle, every scar, every sleepless night. The stable boy and the CEO, two souls from opposite worlds, proved that love isn't about power or wealth. It's about patience, trust, and the courage to see beauty in the wild. And as Blaze galloped freely behind them, Ion whispered to Alina, "Some things aren't meant to be conquered, just understood." She smiled, holding him tighter. "Then let's spend forever understanding each other." And in that golden morning light, surrounded by the scent of earth and freedom, the man who once cleaned stables and the woman who once ruled empires began a new story, one written not in luxury, but in love that tamed even the wildest hearts.